MSI, Xfinity, and ESEA.
We are just about 1 month out from the Intel Extreme Masters in Sydney, Australia. That's right. Aussie. Oi, 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 I think it is. Anyway, regardless, it's been a long road for some of these teams to get there. And, well, quite frankly, some of them should be a surprise to you. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the qualifiers going to IM Sydney.
The Intel Extreme Masters roll into Australia, into Sydney for the first time. This isn't just the biggest CSGO event in Australia. This is the biggest esports event, period. When I look around and I see you here and I hear you here, this is the reason we are put on this show. So then, Australia, so then, I want to rip the roof off this place. Are you ready? First, it is going to be the Battle of the Americas, your first semi-final. Please welcome Optic and SK!
Oh, he's blind though. He's got to line this up. He's got to get it perfect. One goes down. Sprays for the second. Spotted the third as well. He's got it. Well done, Burr. Gifted the entry from a smoke that was to conceal the escape. He made sure that he went down before he reappeared elsewhere as Fallen. He's going to sit and try and babysit the bomb. It did get planted. Good shot from Hayes. All onto Cold Zera. Last year, highest rated player over 2016. He started it off. He's got to get the headshot on the second because they're already on the defuse. Oh my goodness! All three. It goes 15-1. Sip play. 1 versus 5. This is it. SK's done it.
It's the storyline I can't get enough of. The team which is the reigning world champion, the winners of the last major, taking on a team which is now led by Karrigan. And that team now, FaZe, they are a band of rock stars.
This weekend, Counter-Strike calls Australia home. We've travelled to the Great Southern Land with the world's finest Counter-Strike players to the ultimate test. The princes of Counter-Strike going up against the kings. FaZe versus Astralis.
Sydney, are you ready? I said, are you ready?
Actually, they've rotated incredibly fast to Rain. He's not going to miss it. Finds one, Alan finds Divide. Game back on, and it's all on you, Glaive, and you can't do it.
Well, this is fast-paced. There's a headshot. Oh, he gets a second and a third.
All right, Clutch Master, let's see what you can do. There it is, Zipnix.
He absolutely does. And there it is.
My God.
More magic from Zipnix.
Oh, Nico, he tries it, but nothing comes through.
And the defining clash of this era of Counter-Strike is destined again to go all the way. The crowd demands it, and we're more than happy to see it produce.
But it's down to Glaive in a 1v1 against Karrigan. This is a huge round. This could be FaZe getting to match point. He fakes it. He goes walk up. Will you predict it? No, it's Karrigan. Up and over the top, gets the kill, gets the defuse, and gets FaZe to 15. Step by step, they're on the verge of getting to the finals. There it is. It's FaZe to the IEM Sydney final.
Moses to find Azra, and the defuse is going to come across.
How's that feel? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the sound I can get used to. I can get used to that sound. Go on, then.
Behave!
Oh yes, we are now at the pointy end of the Intel Extreme Masters Sydney 2017. And I am pumped for this because not only has the CS been great, the crowd has been amazing as well. 7,000 people packed into the Kudos Bank Arena, ready to see a grand final, a best of 5 playing off for this trophy. This match means everything. So then, Australia, Sydney, the Kudos Bank Arena. Are you ready? Are you ready? Please welcome to the stage your grand finalists, SK Gaming and the FaZe Clan.
Himself and catch them off, and I think Alden may just go for the stick on this. Ball's going to try and walk back in as they both get close enough. Rain considering upper has Alu go look. Oh, hits the diffuser, Fallen gets down. That is incredible. That might be the game in itself. An absolutely brilliant play from Fallen. in a 1 versus 2. Quick flash, gets inside the side, spots it, but turns away. FaZe will finally get him out in this series. Let him come alive. That's going to be scary. Look at the shot on Taco. He's got Cole walking in next. Oh! Oh my goodness! Line up the hat trick and pull the rabbit from the hat. It's all done. SK get their 4th. Can't smoke out. He wants to use that smoke to spray through. How does he hit Taco? Fallen has to get off the bomb, and he sprays back in 7 HP if he walks in at the right time with the M4. He could well find Fallen. He's not moved. He's bought more space, and he's done it, Rain! Cole doesn't think to hold it down. It's not smoke. It's good enough, though. Does he have the time? I think he does. I'm not sure. It's very, very close. Cole's got it. He's got it. SK get the round. What? Just Nico and Kerrigan in the way of SK. A return to form. They dominated 2016. In 2017, they've done it now.
IEM Sydney, the Intel Extreme Masters, all the best teams, all the best matches, all the best fans.
All the best talent.
And all the best talent to include Shoeys to go along with all of that, all of it together. You're going to note Jason O'Toole on the desk with us. We've been graced with his presence.
I'm back, baby.
It's back. Back
Finally
to the analyst
right
work.
side.
Yeah.
Like, finally, he's learned his lesson.
It's all perspective. Are you standing in the front of the desk, behind the desk? Is it left, right? Anyway, look, we have compLexity Renegades. We're going to talk a little bit about Australian Counter-Strike. We'll talk about the Renegades.
Yeah, you might as well. This team's clicking quite nice. There was a lot of the rumors with Cloud9 looking to pick people up that Nifty would be the one they should put their eye on, which I think there's a lot of sense on paper that would work, but I am, on some level, very pleased that he stuck around. I like this Renegades. Like,
yeah.
they're finally doing something, which is cool. I feel like a dick saying that. But yeah.
There's truth to it, right? Because initially you saw when you started, I guess, when we started liking Renegades again, was when they were doing well with NAF, and then you're like, oh man, now it's all ruined because NAF's gone away.
It's all gone to hell.
Exactly, and then they finally find a savior in Jacob. He actually meshes well with them, so you think to yourself like, surely this time we're actually going to see them being able to reap the rewards.
The story of Renegades is kind of weird because, like, remember when they first came on the scene, the conversation was always around like guys like JKS and Ozza being like the guys that had to become star players. And what we've kind of realized as they've found some successes, that's not true. Those aren't the guys you want to become stars because they're not taking that next step. They're not taking that leap. It's guys like Naf who came in and was the star player for a sequence of time. It's guys like Jacob now who are picking up a lot of the reins. Nifty has grown up as an AWPer. So they've mixed in some blood that's not Australian, and all of a sudden they're finding success. Fancy that.
I think they'd be okay with calling them honorary Australians, right? Like they can pass as Australians for now.
I am not the authority that decides honorary Australianism.
Chad?
I think that's Chad.
Okay, yeah.
Honorary Australianism.
I think that's the word. That's the politically correct way to say it.
I mean, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
But what I know about political correctness, I'm not the one to be coaching that seminar. So now, with that said, guys, we don't know either of these teams to be at the very tip top, though. And that's the sort of the difference here. And might you have it, all of the roster changes in the world surrounding this one matchup in particular. Talk to me a little bit about the roster changes that we have just seen unfold within at least the compLexity camp.
I mean, obviously, compLexity lost FNS, who was their in-game leader, came in to take over from Slemmy, if I remember correctly, at the start of the year. And Piv kind of alluded to it, the fact that he hasn't been with the team for that much time, and obviously just moved into the house recently.
Just enough time to get a visa, I think.
Yeah, and then just bailed out. Maybe that was the plan all along, yeah. So, in a funny way, it worked out really nicely for FNS. He's at Cloud9 now. He's going to go to every tournament possible. For compLexity, not so much. They're kind of back to square one. And the thing that worries me is that square one for compLexity wasn't really a nice place to be. That's like, for them, that's kind of just getting straight into jail card and Monopoly. They don't actually get $200 as they pass around. So yeah, no, I don't know where they go from here. We don't even know who they're going to be playing with as their fifth for this.
That's something I was planning on researching earlier today, and then got busy with the.
But there's literally been no announcement of it as far as I've been turning. And I've been looking. I've been trying.
We could see the return of Warden.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Or Rambo actually is the coach now, isn't he?
Actually, I've yet for seeing Rambo. We've seen Warden.
Cool.
I've seen enough of that.
Yeah.
But it would be fun to see some 3D action there. We've already gotten to see the old school complexity in there. But
the nice thing is, though, they do have some guys like PTR with a decent amount of experience, able to kind of, especially with the AWP, he's always been able to have impact in North American Counter-Strike, in the online portion of the Counter-Strike. So, I mean, he's a player that they can kind of rely on. He's been able to take over games in the past, and I think that's someone that you kind of have to lean on if you're complexity. And here's the thing, and I know you guys, I think we touched on it earlier during some downtime, maybe it was during the European broadcast, but we talked about like FNS not necessarily like bringing this like massive new revolutionary playstyle to this team. It was, as we mentioned, like when they were playing earlier in the season, it's a lot of defaults. So it's not like you're going to have to change a whole lot, right? It's like a lot of setting up into a default, seeing what you can find. If you get some opening picks, if there's aggression that you can take advantage of, and you focus on the mid-round calls. And that's usually a feel. That's usually not an in-game leader making that one decision for the mid-round. So, they're not. I don't think tactically they're going to lose or look too much different.
you'd hope so, at least. And again, it's as long as the structure, and again, considering they went from Slummy to FNS, again, similar approaches in terms of how they lead their teams, that should be ingrained with the remaining players on that side. And you mentioned it as well. It's not necessarily the fact that compLexity are doing slightly better off of the back of FNS's in-game leading necessarily. It's also been individuals doing better.
They were looking better, though.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's off of the back of guys like EA and Android actually getting more and more comfortable in it.
Stana spent some time in the compLexity organization.
Oh, that's true.
Once upon a time, I was a young buck doing young buck things.
Is that about like 12 years ago now?
God almighty. I'd say Jason was you were about 35 at the time, Jason. So.
Yeah, so 12 years.
Okay, there we
quick
go.
Maths. But speaking of the complexity organization, we could talk a little bit about the structuring behind it as well. I mean, this team does have some hurdles to go over now. You lose your in-game leader. It's going to be a completely different look. But you do have the appropriate support channels. We have a tweet loaded up from Jason Lake where he comments on the entirety of the roster change. And we could kind of look here and say, we continue our mission to build a top contender. We're building something special in Texas, and I'm not afraid to spend what we need to make it happen. CSGO stars, such as Jason Moses O'Toole, looking for something new, apply within.
Have you DM'd yet?
I haven't. I've actually missed that tweet. Listen, let's start here. It's a lot easier to say you're not afraid to spend what you need to make it happen when you're backed by the Cowboys. That helps a little bit.
I know it's true.
that certainly helps.
It's easier nowadays than what it would have been like, let's say, 5 years ago.
Yeah, although in fairness, when complexity came onto the scene back in 2004, he did spend. He was not afraid to spend back then either.
It was him spending a lot of it.
I think he had the initial signing bonus was for Bullseye, was a motorcycle.
Really?
Enough, when he signed Bullseye, that was like the first player who just stepped down from 3D, and they brought him over, gave him a salary, and Bullseye was like, "Yeah, listen, if I do this, I want a motorcycle." And he's like,
"Reasonable.
We can do that. We can get you a motorcycle."
No questions asked.
Yeah,
was it like a Vespa kind of deal, or was it like a Ducati?
It was a legit motorcycle of some sort. I don't think it was like some kind of luxury cruiser. But,
but still decent vehicle.
Probably a Harley.
Sean Morgan riding his Harley into the sunset these days. I'm not sure what that guy's up to. I haven't heard.
He's a police officer, last I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
There we go.
Did you? I guess that must have been at the old folks reunion with.
We all get together. Yeah.
The class of '69.
Talk about the good old days.
Well, the good old days themselves with complexity are yet to be determined. We don't know exactly who they're going to be playing with, or I haven't gotten word with it. But even against Renegades, a team that has had some sort of structuring, they have something to go into this matchup with. You got to say, Renegades a clear favorite here.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I would as well. I think they're not only a clear favorite, I think they're a heavy favorite. I mean, this is going to be something where I think the scoreline could get a bit ugly. Yeah, there are players on complexity that can do it, but I think the leg up that Renegades is going to have is the experience, obviously, having the roster longer standing, and just the ability to trade together and work together better.
Actually, just got the word that I was waiting on from the voice in my ear, also known as production crew.
Also known as your other personality.
Also, well, now that's the third voice. That's after the broadcast. Yep. Professor Chaos will be stepping in.
Prof Chaos.
Oh, that's a blast from the past.
Butters.
Oh, God.
It's going to be a solid addition to the team. I don't know, like, when did Professor Chaos play actively last time around? That's starting to be a while.
Really
he was a coach for a bit.
He's been around. He's done the coaching. He's done the analyst thing. But I think he was playing last year at some point. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. No, he's been in and out of this. Hasn't necessarily been like a fully committed or fully active player for quite some time. So that is obviously a bit worrying, but I do like he does have familiarity with the players on the squad at least, so that is something to go off of. But yeah, no, it doesn't necessarily build any more confidence that complexity are going to be able to put up like a massive fight to Renegades. This should be for all intents and purposes, a 2-0 for
But
Renegades.
Ben's saying here he's not that heavy hitter that really is going to sway the prediction process.
Yeah, no, he's
really
not.
makes no difference if he's in the server or not. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, your words, but I guess the sentiment is somewhat in the right direction.
Somewhat in the right direction. Well, that direction that we're going to is Mirage. Now, we could sit here and say, okay, who's going to win this? This is why compLexity
Renegades.
could win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear-cut case, to me at least. And I'm sure you guys have echoed the same sentiments. It's just kind of like, man, it's at the point where just every time.
At least this map for PTR can be good. I think if compLexity wants to pull off, you know, the small upset that this would be in the context of online Counter-Strike, I think it's going to have to be a good game from PTR. So you put him on a map that's favorable to the AWP and you give him a chance to kind of snatch one away from Renegades. That being said, Nifty's going to be a tough task to duel against. I think Renegades is going to be much more well-versed in the executions, the smokes, the lineups, all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be firmly in the favor of no longer the Australian. What do we call them now? They're not Australian anymore.
Just the boys.
Yeah.
Just the boys.
Yeah, the boys.
Okay. It's going to be firmly in the favor of the boys.
Yeah.
It's tough, though, because the Cowboys are the boys as well.
Right, so that's too much. That's too many complexities.
Yeah. Oh, God bless it.
Oh, my God.
He's done it now. That's that third voice speaking of
it. It is. Oh, hey, keep it down back there. Look, we're going into Mirage. We want to say that, hey, there's a fighting shot here for compLexity. But ultimately, we know the reality of the situation. And there's very much some gravity weighing down that lineup right now, and understandably so. But going into it, it doesn't look like they could lose a wink of sleep over the current situation. I mean, it's a little bit out of their control now, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with compLexity. You don't really have anything to lose in this match because you're in a tough spot. You know, this is a week you go into these games and you just say, not going to be easy. We got a big deficit with the lineup change and everything like that. Endgame leader has taken off. And even while I don't think too much is going to change tactically for him, you still kind of just say, we can shove these losses under the rug and just chalk them up to that and move on for the long term. They need to find that replacement.
Yeah, I think that's really the right approach, and especially because they've been doing decently enough to start off the season. This isn't.
Do you remember where they are on the standings? Not to throw you under the bus.
Middle of the table, but they're like 7 to 9, something like that, right? So they're not in desperate need of wins at this point, which is a good thing. So they've kind of done well enough for themselves.
I don't know. SK's going to start cranking back up that standings.
Yeah, but they still have Dignitas, Pimp's team to kind of still hold off, which is bit of a way to go.
Well, the artist duo formerly known as Pimp and Harold, dropping their first mixtape here, performing for you tonight from the commentary position on D Mirage. Take it away, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Trace. You have a good side over here. I mean, I like this side of you better than the other side.
Does it ever stop? I just need to know. And I'm leaving on that note. So see you.
Yeah, we've had some big roster changes in NA, but this is the biggest one by far, right? You know, minus Jason plus Pip.
Finally an upgrade.
Oof. He is ruthless. He's going to take everyone on this desk down with him.
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do.
Well, this is going to be an interesting one as you know, you and I make our big debut. I can't wait.
Yeah, it should be good.
Of course, over on the right, it's well, I just said it was me and Jason, which is not. It's me and Pimp. I don't know what your Twitter is off by heart, I'll be honest with you.
It is at Pimp CSGO.
There you go. But yeah, getting into this one, it's already underway. Pissed around, compLexity, what have they got? They've got some guns, and they're going to be heading in towards the speed bomb site. Jacob shuts down the first, and actually him and Ustillo, they've dropped the bomb, they've mopped things up, and it's only Professor Chaos left. The stand-in for compLexity. FNS is gone, he's on cloud 9 now.
That is the absolute worst start they could have gotten to this game, right?
Yeah.
If you're compLexity right now, you want to get off to a good start because, as you said, you know, losing FNS is definitely a big hit to this lineup. And Professor Chaos, without being disrespectful, by no means as good a player as FNS. Normally their coach, if I'm not mistaken. So a big downgrade in that sense. So you don't want to get off to a start where you don't get one single kill of any of the players. So, you know, great start for Renegades, off to a good start on the CT side of Mirage. A map that we do feel is definitely CT-sided when you consider within NA regions at least. So compLexity needs to pull something off the hip straight away, and then maybe Professor Chaos have those brand new ideas that they can throw off Renegades right here.
Yeah, losing your IGL is never an easy task, right?
Not what you want, right?
Yeah, no, definitely not. Especially not coming into this now versus Renegades, a team that they haven't swapped rosters in a while ever since they lost NAF. They've kept things consistent in amongst the recent roster mania that has gone on. There you go, kill comes out for Android. He will be traded out by Jacob over here in Connector.
Seems like they're opting to fall back towards A. They have a guy right now in the slope area, you know, who knows where the guy on A side is playing. He is towards Fire, and it seems like they still have a what is it? A smoke and a flash on PTR. I think 2 smokes actually. So they could go for a double smoke setup where you smoke the stairway and the jungle area off, and then try to charge down the CT guy and then isolate him being all by himself. And I think that's what we're going to see right here, right now. The 2 smokes are coming into place. Now all up to JKS to defend.
Jenkins actually going to go pushing through him and JKS. Try and make a stand, but they are going to go down. It's a 2-on-2. And you hit the nail on the head. They've gone ahead and left CT open. Az is peeking through the gap in this smoke, and that might have netted him something. He would have loved to have found a kill there. Yeah, he's now been able to retrieve himself a Famous, and no one from compLexity peeking into this. There is the man in CT. That's Android. He just goes peeking on in now. They know where he is. 1 versus 2. Deeganhan, who still has been tagged down low, but Az finishes him off. Defuse will come in, and Renegade's going to be on to their 2nd round, but it comes very, very close.
Yeah, a bit too close, I would say. JKS did his job in the beginning, but then instead of staying alive, he actually went for the 2nd duel, where I would probably just have stayed alive, whereas JKM also took the 1st guy down, but then instantly fell down. So a little bit trade back and forth, and when you're in a 2-on-2 situation against pistols, you're never really in a safe position. So a little bit sloppy from Renegades in that sense, but all that matters is the round win, and you can now see the money on the compLexity side is completely into shambles, which means they can only afford a few pistol upgrades, and that's it. The rest of them are going to save. No nades, no utility, no nothing, and it should be one of those free rounds for Renegades, you know. Scaring a little bit in the beginning right here, but should be off to a decent 3-0, and that's what you want to do when you win the pistol round on the CT side, Mirage.
So I'm curious, you know, you've obviously played versus a good few of these guys.
All of them.
Yeah. In the server, who would you say is the most annoying to play, you know, to try and contend with?
Definitely Nifty. Definitely Nifty. The way he plays a very loose style, we see Jester actually picking ACR apart. Not necessarily something that's going to mean anything for the outcome of the round, but if you look at Nifty, he's one of those type of players who's always, you know, running around and always on the move. So where you know, or when you think you know where you got him on the map, and we can call out to a team, it's okay, Nifty in this area, so let's do this and this and this. All of a sudden, he's going to stop or stand behind you with a knife in his hand and give you the knife in the back. He's one of those types of player, you can't really control him. You can kind of relate to a guy like Angel from Hellraisers maybe in Europe, whereas you never really know what he's going to do, and you may want to say that he plays stupid at some times, but there's always a plan behind what he does, you know, in his own mind. You can see that through every single time he plays, so definitely not fun to play against a guy like that, especially not when as skilled that he is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can kind of imagine that the extra versatility as well being the IGL gives him, right, to kind of set the rest of the team up around how he positions himself. So it's not even just him, it's kind of the impact he has on everyone else in being so versatile. But compLexity, they're going to start to make their way in towards his site. Ustilo and Jacob here. They've actually got the man advantage. These still looking to do damage. Android going to answer back with the M4, and actually he's doubled down, so suddenly it's a 2-on-2. Things look kind of scary for Renegades here.
Yeah, and this is around you all of a sudden favor to the compLexity guys. Retaking this B bomb side is very tough. It's very, very close, very compact, and as long as they can set up a decent crossfire, it should be doable for the compLexity guys to steal away around.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, they don't have armor. That's going to be the one thing. Ooh, that's a nice shot from Ye. Just like that, a belter, but Nifty answers back with 2. You had him pegged as the trickiest trickster on the server. And there he goes ahead and actually locks in that 3rd round. A very big round from Nifty as he gets that one back under control. But now the buy comes in at 4 compLexity. The AWP going to be thrown on out early on at 2 Android. Curious where his spawn is 4, but no, he's just going to be firmly in the middle. We're going to get thrown onto PTR, I was going to say. Ooh.
A little technical timeout right here.
You know.
But yeah, a little bit of a sad start for compLexity. They had 2 very close rounds. The first Antigua round were close to go their way. Also, this one ended up in a 1-on-1 where Nifty survives with, I think it was 38 HP. So close to making something out of it. But in the end, all that matters for Renegades is to get the rounds on the board. And as you can see, you know, a 3-0 scoreline, able to buy full utility in this round. They set themselves up for a great start. Whereas compLexity, you know, they must feel a little bit... At least I know the feeling when you play. You know, you're so close to making something good out of something twice, you know, but you fall short every single time, and that's something they have to shake off straight away. Go into this first round with the confidence that even when we only had pistols, we were very close to winning against these rifles. So when we had the AKs, we gotta believe that should be enough to take us that step further and actually win the rounds in this sense. So great start for both teams, even though Renegades are dominating the scoreboard by a 3-0 lead right here.
Yeah, no, definitely. And as you said, now they have to try and go into this round with confidence, knowing that they were so close with the pistols. They can hopefully make it work with this full buy. PTR, he's got the AWP. Where he is with it right now is over towards the top of mid. Waiting to see if any aggression comes on out from Renegades. And Nifty, he's down in connector. just peeking on out in toward the top of mid for the time being. compLexity looking like they're thinking about something maybe over towards B, but they're going to start to back on off. Haven't spotted anything early on, so now they look to try and make a play somewhere.
A little bit scary here. They have no control over the A app area at all, and that's how it often is in Mirage. You have a guy towards A bomb side. You can see on your radar on the left right here, Yeaster. All he's been doing the entire round is basically only watching this area. So A app's area on A bomb side is in theory completely open, and they have no idea whether there's a guy hiding up there or not. And that must be a little bit scary for the compLexity guys. That's something you not often see. You often see a team go inside the A apps and make sure that's clear, and then you fall back to take the slope area after in order to make sure both times are clear. Now they go for the A hit here, and it's again up to JKS to defend it. Getting the first one, slow and calmly staying alive right here, baiting for his teammate on default side. That's a great play by JKS. They have no idea he's there. JKS combining for 2 and 3 frags right there, and all of a sudden they're shut down. It's only Death back inside the middle, and he's having a big task right here, Harry.
It's all good, you know, it's fine. I struggle to say your first name too.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, Def, my resident boy from Britain, has to try and make a stand over here in mid. That's not how you do it.
Just like you, he fall down.
Yeah, well, you know, he's a pretty keen gamer when he wants to be.
True.
But didn't fancy it in that round. Renegades going to go 4-0 up. And still don't have the money, I don't think, to get the AWP. Yeah, just the M4 thrown over to Nifty, but they shouldn't have to worry, given that compLexity are onto a partial buy here. The Renegades are off to a very good start.
No, not off to a good start. And compLexity, once again, you know, it must be a little bit frustrating for them to be so close twice in an anti-eco, and then when you go into the first buy round, you just get completely annihilated. So, in that sense, you know, we haven't really seen anything from compLexity that suggests them being able to go up against this Renegades lineup and fight for it. That said, though, when you bring in a guy like Professor Chaos, you can't really expect too much out of it. You know, he's a guy who doesn't play actively anymore. He's only the coach, so it is definitely not an upgrade compared to FNS. Good thing about it is, obviously, he knows the system. He knows what they're doing. So in that sense, the other players shouldn't be too affected by that. But they definitely do lack a little bit more firepower than they already did compared to the Renegades lineup, especially considering going up against guys like Jakim, who, you know, 2 years ago, playing in FaZe, one of the best players in Europe at some point, MVP of the Cluj Napoca Major, I believe, or at least one of them. So definitely a player that has a history behind him, whereas if you look towards compLexity, the most prominent name they have is PTR, a guy who's basically known for never making it where he should be, basically, because he has a lot of talent, a lot of praise for him, but never really making it further than a team like compLexity or CLG, which is kind of like a shame. What a guy with that potential.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, this round isn't actually that bad. They've been able to make things work with these pistols once again. Now, Professor Chaos missing a couple of shots. He's going to go and get beheaded. It's all on Ye, and the bomb's down in connector. You imagine there's no way back into this round. Nope, tag to 1 HP. Down into CT Spotty. He's going to try to pick it up from Ticket. Has himself an AK now to work with. I mean, this would be an unbelievable clutch. That's the thing. 20 seconds, 1v2, 1 HP. Yay. He's up for the challenge. He's going to go peeking into it. But you imagine if he walks around this slow, he's a very easy target. Thank you, Stillo. Okay, as it's gone down, now suddenly it's a 1v1. 1 HP. Surely he doesn't, and he does not. Stillo's going to pick it up right at the very end. Another bittersweet round from compLexity as they get it down to a 1-on-1.
Another missed opportunity right there for compLexity. Actually playing it very well, you know, bringing up that AK, that is a smart move, and then going for the duel. A little bit unorthodox position from the Renegades player right there, going down in the end, and you still then taking the duel against him. I did not like that play. Luckily for him, he won the duel and didn't cost him around this time around, but that was very close for Renegades. Now, compLexity once again able to buy up in this round, which means that they can put a lot of pressure on the Renegades guys. The money, as you can see on your left on your screen, are not good for Renegades, despite them being 5-0 up, which means that compLexity instantly can reset the money of the Renegades guys. ACAR wants it differently, though. PTR going down once again first time, so not a great start for the compLexity guys right here once again. Yeaster picking up a frag, going down to JKS. A little bit trading back and forth right now, whereas Renegades are coming out on top, and that's how it spent the entire game thus far. Def, though, have somehow managed to sneak up inside the jungle area, and I don't think they know where he is. Neither does he where they are, though. This could be very dangerous.
Good. Now he's going to pounce on out, and Def, well, he's created a bit of space. He's found one, but now Azza has the idea, and Def going to keep creeping forward. What's the head, but Azza's going to pick it up, and that's a massive kill to find. Only 16 HP. Azza will outstay as welcome. This flank from Ustillo could be monstrous. He just spots Android there. Bomb's going to get retrieved, but Ustillo's there to slip the knife in the back. Android goes down. That's the bomb dropped, and now it's Professor Chaos, the coach, in the hot seat. 1v3. He is up in window. Just going to miss the timing there onto Nifty, but he's still been allowed to sneak on by. I don't think they know that he's here.
I don't think they know either. And he's going to see if he can make something out of it. He hears the guy jumping around since spawn. Now he's spotted. That should be the end of Professor Chaos alive right here. He's staying alive, though. And there we go, Nifty bringing him down. That's what you can see about Nifty, you know, never afraid of taking a duel, just all of a sudden running out with his USP and just, you know, bringing down Professor Chaos to his knees. And again, Nifty, a player we've praised a lot. I feel like during this Pro League season, and a guy who deserves a lot of praise. One of the guys that a lot of guys thought that C9 would maybe approach in order to pick up, to get a Navy people instead of Skadoodle, as well as getting in an in-game leader. You actually smack two flies with one right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And for some reason, they didn't opt to go for it. I don't know whether that's Nifty saying no or whatever the buyouts might be a problem. But initially, that's a guy I think could thrive well on a team like Cloud9. He definitely, I wouldn't say deserves a better team than Renegades because they're actually pretty good. But he's a guy that has potential for more than where he is right now in his current state of his career.
Yeah, he was the hot prospect for a while, but he's comfortable in his home in Renegades right now. JKS kickstarts this round, frag out onto Android. They're going to keep pushing on in, and now there's two players here for Renegades to try and hold the coming tide of compLexity at bay. Eustilo's landed on their heads, and he Goomba stomps them down. Good night to Professor Chaos and Yay, and just like that, it's a 1v4 from Def. It's going to be tricky. There's no denying it.
I feel like we've been here before where you see one guy surviving for compLexity without really having a chance to do anything to stay alive. Another missed opportunity right here for the compLexity guys. And it's getting to a point where if you go down 7-0 on Mirage, you're already in a bad spot. Whereas you don't really know what to expect from the rest of the match. Def going down without doing any additional damage. JKM with another frag on the board. Another great round from Eustili and JKM. And you can see the scoreboard right here for the Renegades guys as well. You know, it's even out. All of the guys are chiming in. There's not one guy carrying it out. It's a joint force right now as we see a beautiful pause screen. Eustili coming in here with a double 2K right here in the sandwich area. And that's one of the positions that you always got to be aware of when you go up towards the A side. You try to Molotov it or smoke it out most oftenly, but this time around the compLexity guys did not hit A as properly as you would have wanted them to. Tactical timer coming in, about time, down 7-0. It's about to change something, Harry.
Yeah.
And what is it? What is it they need to change?
Oh, well, you kind of throwing me under the bus here.
Right there.
I don't know. It's odd. The thing that actually would just quickly, the idea that I love is that, you know, tactical timeout, usually a time you talk to your coach, chill out, but they're already talking to their coach. Now they're already in the game. He's there. He can see firmly what's going on. You know, they've had a decent bit of success in a lot of these rounds, you know, coming down in really like tight 1-on-X scenarios. And I just think, you know, well, they don't actually have anything here to go with, so maybe my prediction isn't going to be too smart. I'm just going to say, you know, just go for a set piece, throw some smokes and flashes out towards, you know, that A bomb site. I think with rifles behind them, they could. It was kind of Eustili who made that hero play in the previous round that made everything all possible. So, you know, we've seen them go for these rather slow defaults, and I don't think that's really going to work out too well when you have, like, you know, your coach playing. It's kind of a tricky scenario because you can't really long out those fights. You're kind of already in a 4-on-5, right? So maybe just go for like a full-on brute force rushing towards one of these sites, get all the smokes down. I don't know if you agree with that, Pimp. I don't know how you feel about my attempt at some color.
I mean, everything you just said made no sense. So no, I definitely do agree.
Okay,
I definitely do agree. You don't want to, as you said, want to prolong the duels, and especially not bring Professor Chaos in a position where he has to clutch out a round. You want to send him in first. And some things you often see when when a team loses his in-game leader is the fact that they try to play it differently all of a sudden. You know, they may have been a little bit, you know, he was too strict, and we want to do our own thing now. And often, you know, the players don't know better than the in-game leader. You know, so it's definitely going to be a problem for compLexity if they don't, you know, follow suit on what FNS taught them in that sense. Def now getting a consolidation frag right here. It looks absolutely impossible for them to get something out of this round, though. Getting another one, it opens up for a bomb plan, at least from Professor Chaos. Getting down the bomb right here is probably the best he can hope for. And going down right there. Again, another, wouldn't say clean antique round for Renegades, but another round on the board. And that at this point is all that matters. Going up 8-0 is a very demanding lead, especially on Mirage. It is a map where you often see a 9-6 half or 10-5 half or maybe even an 8-7, and both teams can still be happy. But going down 8-0 is always a rough one to swallow on a map like Mirage that is fairly even in the two sides.
Especially, you know, when you consider that I think half of these rounds have come on down like to you know, such like on a knife's edge, right? They've been so close, and for compLexity, that was kind of good early on, but now it's reached the point where it's like the close rounds, like they're a good sign, but compLexity, they just need to find something, right? Like the whole idea of the rounds being close being that helpful. I mean, it's kept the economy down low, but they need to try and fight back sometime soon. And definitely, he's able to get one down in mid, but that's it. As Azza, ooh, 3 kills. How's he still alive? He's really overstayed his welcome here. And he's still doing damage. Now he's still to try and hold off B, and he will do so, leaving it all on the back of Ye. And he's going to go ahead and pick up the AWP. Players coming his way. The flank from Azza could be the thing that seals this.
Should be the thing that seals this. Yesa is just hoping to find a peak right here. Looking for that one mistake that may give him some space to work with. Doesn't look likely though. There's a guy from behind. He's actually playing it very conservative and waiting for him. That's a great move. There's no reason to rush this one for Renegades. I like to see when a team is up 8-0 and still, you know, playing composed and safe in that sense. Giving him the plan doesn't change anything of the outcome for Renegades. So just playing it safe and making sure, you know, that they have a plan of reaching this bomb site. It's still a possibility for Ye. The bomb is now down, and just as I said, that ACR comes out, gets his 4th kill of the round, and as you said, great round by him. And I like to see the fact that Renegades, you know, are keeping themselves on the toes, despite being up 8-0. It's still something new coming out of them every single round. This time around, we saw a version where they rushed up 3 guys in middle. ACR ending up getting a 3K and completely pressuring compLexity out of the mid area and destroying the default. So even though they're trying to do the default, they're trying to do what FNS maybe taught them, play slow and play structured. Renegades just find a way to provoke that and deny it straight away. And that's great to see a team like Renegades able to constantly being proactive instead of being reactive. So they always, you know, have the gas on the foot pedal. Or the foot on the gas pedal. Whatever. Same thing.
It's the aggression towards the top of mid. And I tell you what, Yustillo certainly has his gas on the foot pedal and everything in between. He's got himself 3. It's a monstrous performance over in the top of middle, and the bomb's been dropped. Yustillo's still sticking around. He's not falling back yet. Ye is there, and there's a flank coming in from PTR. So Yustillo maybe overextends just a little bit, sticks around perhaps a little too long. But they've still got a man advantage. They know where the bomb is, and Az is aggressing over it through apartments. So he gets a lot of information on the back of this. And now compLexity, they've grinded to a halt over in mid. They've got 1 minute and 10 seconds left, and they are not moving anywhere quickly.
Getting around where 20 seconds into the round, compLexity's entire plan is just completely destroyed. You can now see ACI is pushing from behind once again. And Nifty bringing down PTR, and all of a sudden, you know, this looks like absolutely impossible for Yesa. You know where he is, though. If you can find this pick, there's a chance that he can create himself some space for it. Nifty is too good for him, though, bringing him down. And once again, we see the aggressive mid play from Renegades panning out. And you said it in your so fine color segment before. Do something preset. Do something, you know, where you just brute force into a side and know what you're doing from the beginning of the round instead of trying these defaults. Renegades has now shown you 10 rounds in a row they're able to break it and able to disturb you. So if that doesn't work for you, now Professor Chaos, you are getting paid to be the coach, you are getting paid to be the smart mind of this team. So do something about it, you know, show that you have something in the sleeve and call something maybe a little bit more YOLO in a sense, or a little bit more, you know, fast-paced, structured, instead of this very slow-paced structured Counter-Strike that they're not allowed to play anyway because compLexity are just getting brute forced down by Renegades.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you kind of said usually if like an IGL leaves, we see a team play different, but it feels like they're trying to play the exact same style they would play with FNS. The very, very slow default, and it took him even, I think, really like the first 2-3 weeks to even kind of get a hang of the pacing within this team anyway, right?
And that's the thing, you know, when you want to play a slow default, you got to play it real slow. Instead of running out middle and dying to the aggressive middle guys, then just wait down and T-spawn for the first 30 seconds of the round, you know, and then take middle, instead of going in there and take the fight straight away. So it's these small adaptations, you know, that FNS may or may not would have called where he's still on the team that is not being made right now, and that's why we see Renegades being so dominant in this matchup.
Yeah, and well, compLexity perhaps lacking that FNS brain. Now they have to try and find their own brawn. And, well, Az is not a fan. He will cut them down mercilessly over a mid. It's Professor Chaos, 1v4.
He's not making a lot of chaos for compLexity right now, let's be honest. Going down right here to ACR again. Another triple kill from him. 11-0. It's getting to a point where it's almost embarrassing, I would say, especially on a map like Mirage. We talked about it, you know, an 8-7 half, a 9-6 half is not unorthodox, but going down 11-0 is it's just not good enough.
No, I mean, it's not. And, you know, they couldn't have picked a worse day to do it. Not only because this game is, you know, I mean, every match is kind of becoming quite important now, but because they've got you being the color caster for this, and you are the most savage man alive. You will not let this slide.
I will not. There we go. Finally, a first pick for compLexity, you know, and opening in the round. Let's see if they're able to convert this into to the very first round win. Seems like they have a clear plan of wanting in towards B side, and now they finally do, as I suggest, you know, wait in middle. You can see the bomb currently being placed down in top middle as Nifty is getting down Professor Chaos. You know, not a smart move by him to take that duel. Nifty stays here and almost found the second guy. And let's see if he's actually stupid enough to fight it. He is. Death goes down, and now ACR is bringing down PTR in middle. And it's, you know, back and forth. But every single duel, every single exchange goes out in the favor of Renegades. And all of a sudden, it is a 12-0. Finally, they got something to work with, and they managed to throw it away anyway. Nifty, obviously a great play in the BFs, going for the aggressive repeat. That's it's a nice place to do it because it's very safe. Either you hit the shot and you get away, or you miss the shot and you get away anyway. There's not really a scenario where you end up dying in the BF, so it's sort of like a free pick in that sense. So well played by him, but a little bit disappointing to see compLexity not you know, taking advantage of the fact they finally had a first kill in the round. They didn't change anything. They were actually waiting down the middle, as I was trying to say, but all of a sudden, Professor Chaos dies in BFs. It seems like the whole team is panicking, and you know, 10 seconds after, the round is basically over for compLexity. So definitely a team that is, you know, translated into this game. They're lacking an in-game leader. They're lacking the leader right now. FNS, you left them in the cold.
Well, here we are. Yeah, he's trying to heat things back up again. Oh, but Jacob is not a fan. He is going to go down finally. Yezo to trade. He's actually up to a double kill, and he's secured in this A bomb site almost. Yustillo is the only man within earshot. There is a rotation coming in from Nifty. Yustillo just going to catch the timing onto Death. So now we are back to a 2-on-3. Still creeping forward. compLexity gonna go ahead and try and get this bomb down, but it's on the back of Professor Chaos, who currently sits down in Sandwich. He's given plenty of time to Renegades to set up for this. And it's Azza on this monstrous flank that could lock in this round for Renegades. He's the linchpin. He's the man to keep an eye on. And Ye, kind of the only player really, or one of two players who's been stepping up right now for compLexity, has a very, very tall order ahead of him. Azza into Palace. That is the ideal angle to peek onto this bomb. There's 35 seconds left. Professor Chaos is going to get spotted out by Azza. And on the back of that, the round could very much all be over. Ye, 1v3. It has to be. Try and secure this round here. He watches connector. Yustillo peeks into it. Another peek on out from Azza. Just going to go out a double peek on out. Azza locks it in, and Renegades will be on to a 13.
And there we go. 2 away from the perfect first half for Renegades. If we gotta be serious, then we can say Renegades has done pretty much everything correctly. They've been able to pressure compLexity on all parameters. If it's not a middle, then it's BFs. If it's not BF, then it's AFs. They're putting pressure all over the map, and that's great to see Renegades being able to have success with that. On the other hand, if you gotta look at the less bright side, compLexity not able to do anything whatsoever on this T side. Now finally trying for a fast A-pay right here where they disturb, make a lot of noise in the middle, and now walking up on A side. JK has already found the first frag. Able to find number 2 as well. Nifty number 3, and there you go. All of a sudden the round is pretty much over once again. compLexity not able to do absolutely anything in this game. Professor Chaos getting a consolidation frag, but alone against 3 Renegades players. Knowing where he is, I would pretty much bet my entire savings on him going down, and there we go. Didn't even get to see it. 14-0 Harry. I mean, it would be fun with a 16-0, right? I like that.
I mean, the thing that's kind of scary, right, is PTR is actually like pretty good in this roster, and he is really tanking in this game.
Yeah,
you know, like
he's been better.
He's very much struggling. Professor Chaos, he's obviously the coach, right?
It is 14-0, and for some reason PTR and Def have not bought up AKs. Can you try to explain? They didn't buy up SMGs, they didn't buy up AKs, they didn't buy gills. They opted for CCs and nades.
You know, CZ very, very strong, right? You have 3 rifles. At least now they have the utility, although they didn't fully invest. They still have money left for more utility. So they're going to make their way in here towards this B-bomb site. Jacob controls the spray. He has to work hard to gain control of it back, but the stack here from Renegades proves to be too strong. 15-0, the perfect first half from Renegades. And now they stand 1 round away from victory here on Mirage. They've almost gone for the clean sweep. You can't say the scoreline that we might see, or else you jinx it. Everyone knows that.
16-0.
Well, there we go. We could very much see one of them. But Pimp loves his Counter-Strike. He wants this one to drag on a little bit longer, and I kind of do as well, for compLexity's sake, you know. They can't be broken after the departure of one
It's sort of like a scenario where if you're in a car and you drive over a bird, right, and it's still alive, you just want to go out there and break the neck of it straight away. You don't want to prolong the pain for them. So that's what I would do if I were Renegades right now.
Okay. Well, there we go. You know, that is a savage, real-life example from neck breaker pimp. Here we go.
I've seen my dad break a neck on a bird.
We're going into the last, well, what could be the last round. That's a bit pessimistic. But PTR, there you go. Gotta find the first. Azza does answer back. And there's 4 players inside the site for Renegades, but there's still Def here. He's still causing problems. Professor Chaos doubles down. He's not messing around. It all falls onto JKS and compLexity. They've been able to get themselves the pistol around as PTR wakes up.
There we go. The wounded animal is still alive, and finally great to see some. Wouldn't say it's even positive, but something coming out of compLexity. You know what they would do in a serious scenario is getting as many rounds as possible, obviously, and just have a decent feeling that moving into the next map they may or may not have a chance depending on how they do this time around. So. compLexity, for them, the game is already lost. It would require one hell of a comeback to come back on this one, and I don't believe it's going to happen, especially not without an in-game leaver, despite Jacer being absolutely savage right here, just rushing up. It doesn't really matter in this scenario. All you have to do from compLexity right now is getting as many rounds as the board and just bring in a little bit of confidence going into the second map, so they still have a chance, or still have I believe in themselves in order to make it a close game and maybe even pick up the 1-1 for the series. That said, though, Renegades have shown to be superior in pretty much every aspect of the game, despite the pistol rounds. It's 1-for-1, but besides from that, it's been Renegades all over the map, and I don't see how this is not going to turn out in a win for Renegades. And that's what I meant, just break the neck of the bird as soon as you can, get into the next map, and save the pain for both teams in that sense, so you can start to refocus and rebuild in the needed energy in order to play a hopefully better second map for compLexity.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I mean, I don't know if you feel this is particularly true, but there's always that kind of argument that sometimes it's easier just to shrug off like a massive defeat, right, than it is like a really close game that you lose out on. Like a 60-0 is never nice. You can kind of just say we had our coach playing. We weren't hitting our shots. Renegades were just outclassing us there, but we've still got a second map. It's a lot easier. Whereas you can kind of exhaust yourself, right? If this was like a super close 30-round game, and the compLexity just lose out, there's like a lot more that could be in your mind as to what went wrong to exhaust you, right? But it's going to be a second round for compLexity. They are able to find that. It's an ace for Ye. That's always going to be confidence boosting. Didn't even realize he's got 17 kills right now. He is the only man in the server for compLexity, it feels like. The one-man army.
Yay, Star is doing a good job, yeah. I mean, another round on the board probably for compLexity. Let's see who's going to stat pad this one for them. Going up against 5 Glocks is nothing too scary for them. Seems like Renegades are opting for a fake play right here, where they want to rush out 2 guys on the B bomb side and probably see if they can get a bomb plant on A bomb side. Seems like one of those cheeky fakes where you just hope to get a bomb plant so you have enough money for next round, aka full utility. It's going to be the double fake maybe, where they run out 8 first. Yeah, there we go. 2 guys out on the A side. They die. Then the 2 guys on B run out, and then the bomb tries to go out on the A side and plant the bomb. I can tell you already now, it's not going to work, boys. You're going to have a tough time doing that. There you go. Def going down, JKS going down, and now we see the bomb on A side going out and dying. You tried, but it didn't work, Nifty. Like the creativity, but it rarely seems to be working unless you get the first kill on either side to force that rotation.
I don't think
it is though a situation where you have 5 Glocks, so you can easily just try something and make a show out of it.
Yeah, definitely, and well, at least having Professor Chaos does mean that you have someone to be your bank player, right? Like here, he's got decent money. I think, yeah, they've put him on the FAMAS, right, which is like the weakest of all the rifles that was in play. Double upset up bought out between Def and PTR. Rifles across the board for Renegades. It's aggression in towards the top mid. He's already up and past him. He's up through the smoke. 2 players are behind him. They haven't checked it. Ye's gone down. Now Android's still there. PTR's down in connector, but suddenly Professor Chaos left all alone, high and dry inside the B bomb site. And he's going to go down at the first hurdle. Looks like it could all be said and done. But Android's not ready to give up just yet. He's been able to take the first onto Ustillo. Man advantage in favor of Renegades in this retake. Damage inflicted and still lots of utility left for the Renegades. It's going to be a very tricky situation for compLexity, and PTR has got to try and find something.
Gotta try something. Nifty bringing down Android, Jacob bringing down PTR, and all of a sudden there's only Death back, a Molotov and a Flash and an AVP getting the first back on Jacob, but it's more or less already over by here. Jumping out of the window, knowing it's over. ACR getting the last frag on Death, and there we go, a 16-3 victory for Renegades. I mean, we did know that Renegades were the favorites going into this matchup, especially considering it is Mirage, the circumstances of compLexity as well, losing the in-game leader only 2 days ago in FNS, bringing in the coach to play the game. I mean, a lot were not working for them in that sense, but still 16-3, that is, I wouldn't say unacceptable, but it's at a state where you feel like they were never really part of the game anyway, so something different has to happen going into map 2.
Well, that is map 1. As you say, there's still a second map yet to come. We'll be back with that and the analysts after a quick break.